with the mayor on on Facebook a few days ago that you had a celebration at a Cuban restaurant. And the photographs in the restaurant, nobody was wearing a mask. And if we're going to have this mandate, or whatever you want to call it, we need to hold everybody accountable. So if we're going to be required to wear masks in here, I have a medical condition that I shouldn't be wearing a mask, but I can't be here if I don't wear one. You should be setting an example. So I think we need to do an investigation into the mayor not following your own rules.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Michael Arnold. I'm a registered representative. I work for Next Financial. I have reported to the Securities and Exchange Commission in regards to the manipulation of the enterprise fund. And so what I'm asking for is the city council to disclose all sources that were used from the enterprise fund to the city, to the members. I requested this from both you, Mayor Holland, and from Matt Horton, and all of you guys that declined to answer. I also have filed a formal grievance with the FBI as well as the MSRB. I'm asking for all full and fair disclosure in regards to the enterprise fund and the sources of those funds, including what was allocated from the enterprise fund to build the city hall, Holland Park, and any other resources that were provided. Thank you.
Thank you for comments. Next speaker.
Robert Young, I know you've heard of me, 66 Smith Trail. I have argued against the code enforcement for over a year. I gave you documentation, legal documentation on it. And at this point, I feel like I have been harassed beyond control. I think a lot of people here are talking about similar things, and tyranny is what I see around here. And I'm kind of fed up. So I'd like to actually ask you people.
Sir, we have to speak to the council. That's
I can
what
speak to them too, they're part of it. In fact,
There's
they
a
own
procedure.
this city, you don't, you work for it.
Sir,
I'd like to know how many people are interested in filing a lawsuit against them for $50 and putting them on a plaintiff.
Sir, you've been requested by the chairperson of this board to follow the council's
As far
procedures
as
that
the
they
council
adopt.
goes, I'd like to see if they would put a council membership of non-council members in a group meeting and discuss what is appropriate for the HOA rules that you have incorporated and which ones should be removed. I'd like the council to discuss that now. Thank you.
thank you for comments. Next speaker.
Thank you and good evening. Mayor Holland, it seems like there are some people that are unhappy in the room, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to follow that.
Can you please state?
However, I do have my name is Maria Darcy. I do have some photographs that I would like to present to the council. And here we have Mayor Holland at a gathering. It looks like a victory party. Congratulations. No one is social distancing. No one is wearing a mask, even though the rest of the citizens of this city must live by your dictatorial mandates and recommendations. So I have 4 questions for you, Mayor Holland. Number 1, is this you in the photograph? Number 2, was this taken at a victory gathering? Number 3, at the time, was there in fact a mask mandate and recommendation at that time? And number 4, the most important question, why, Mayor Holland, are we required, and it is recommended for the citizens, but you violated your own advocacy for masks, social distancing, and I think you owe it to the citizens of this city to explain these photographs. Thank you.
Could you get the documents to the city clerk? you're not speaking at the podium, we would remind you of the city requirement of city facilities to wear masks, please. Thank you.
Next speaker.
Oh, below your nose? Like this guy?
Good evening. My name is Megan Rizzo. I live in the P section. This is the first time I felt a serious need to actually come to the city council meeting. And I'm greatly concerned if this is your true personality that you displayed at the swearing in, Councilman Ronquillo. I felt as though you had planned to intimidate. The behavior has many concerns if you're fit for the position. I noticed you never apologized for the tirade against Councilman Ed Danko. Sadly, you actually boasted about it. I saw this on the media. This further added to my concerns. That set a negative tone, and we have our eyes on you now. Do you know who we are? I'd like to point out something important. Ed Danko won his race against incumbent Sim Jones at over 60%. He polled better than anyone else sitting here today, okay? This should tell you that the residents are concerned with corruption. We've heard about it from current and past city employees, and the media has also shared this, as well as the FBI. We elected him to make sure the residents are getting an honest look at what's taking place. Therefore, if you want to talk to him like that, then I guess you're going to have to talk to all of us like that, because 28,227 citizens of Palm Coast voted for him. They have concerns. And I don't think this is a small number of people that should be dismissed. Councilman, you should not only work with him, but be mindful of his tone and respect the city council seat when you address him. We can take those 60% numbers and remove you at next election. Final reminder here, everyone here serves we the people. There is concern of corruption, but do the right thing, have your moral compass in the positive direction. Do not let the tone from last meeting be how you set future meetings. I expect Mayor Holland to weigh in on these matters, shall they arise again. I expect you to diffuse them and make sure the council holds professionalism. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comments.
My name is Mark. The hypocrisy here is stunning. There's two council members sitting up there right now that have the mask over their nose. The last meeting I was here, this gentleman told everybody how to wear the mask. Had to be up over the nose, across the face. What's going on? What's the deal? Do you wear the mask over the nose or under the nose? Do you guys get to do something that we don't get to do? You got an answer? You just stand there and look at me.
We'll respond after all public comments. Thank you. Next speaker. Anyone on the phone? Thank you, Doug. We will close public comment. Thank all the speakers here tonight. We will now move to agenda item number 2, which are the minutes, the approval, November 17th, 2020. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, it passes unanimously. Agenda item number 2 is the ordinance. Mr. Rice.
Mayor, Council, this is an ordinance of the City Council, City of Palm Coast, Florida, providing for the amendment of the official zoning map as established in section 2.06 of the City of Palm Coast Unified Land Development Code. This ordinance amends the official zoning map for 86.61 acres, more or less, of certain real property generally located on US Highway 1, and being more particularly described in the attached Exhibit A, from Master Plan Development to Master Plan Development District, or MPD zoning district, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, providing for an effective date. Mayor, Council, this is the first reading. It's a quasi-judicial matter. So, as we always do, if you had any ex parte communications, prior to tonight about this matter, those should be disclosed for the record.
Council, I'll ask for ex parte communications at this time, please. Anything ex parte?
There are none.
None?
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, we will open it up. Staff, we have a presentation.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, Mayor and members of City Council. Jose Papa for the Community Development Department. And this item is seeking approval for a development agreement for the South Palm Coast Park Master Plan development. The subject property we have before us is about 89 acres of vacant lot land located at the end of Palm Coast Parkway, western terminus of Palm Coast Parkway, and US 1. Its current future land use map designation is mixed use with a zoning designation of master plan development. The item we have here is that although it's already zoned as master plan development, there is not an approved development agreement for the parcel. The development agreement, as part of the master plan development zoning, establishes the uses, the development standards, and the conditions for development of the property. This request is that the uses to be permitted on this, as part of this MPD, would be consistent with the general commercial zoning district, which is a district that mainly permits retail and office uses, which include things like a medical campus, hospital, medical offices, and then ancillary retail and restaurant uses that might come as part of a medical campus, along with institutional uses such as public safety operations, fire and law enforcement, and the library. Those are types of institutional uses. The general commercial zoning district does not permit any residential uses, such as multifamily condos. The development standards requested are consistent with that for the general commercial zoning district. Minimum lot size of 20,000 square feet, 100-foot wide minimum interior lot width, a maximum impervious surface ratio of 0.70, but as part of this MPD, there's a request to increase that to 0.75, and same with the maximum floor area ratio to go from 0.5 to 0.55. These are minor changes that remain consistent in our analysis with the comprehensive plan. In addition, consistent again with the general commercial zoning district, a maximum building height of 100 feet, interior side and rear setbacks of 10 feet, minimum building setbacks from the arterial or collector road, such as US 1, 25 feet, and 20 feet setback from any local road. In this case, there is none that applies at this time. Other requirements and conditions of the MPD request includes the internal pedestrian circulation, a sidewalk crosswalk on US 1, two access drives to and from US 1, and those will require DOT approval, and low impact development practices as part of the design of the uses on the site. Those LID practice, or low impact development practice, as we call them, include things like water conservation, such as using the right landscaping materials and having an irrigation system that responds to the type of landscaping materials that are placed on the site, along with Bear Smart principles, and in this case, traffic concurrency, as outlined within the development agreement, will be done at the site plan phase. Additionally, there is a request that condition that the developer and the city will coordinate on delineating the extension of Palm Coast Parkway during the site plan and plat review process. Other requirements and conditions, as we move forward with development of this site, the site will have to comply still with city, state, federal regulations, such as the Land Development Code for architectural standards, lighting, parking, floodplain management, stormwater, and has to be consistent and meet the requirements of state and federal regulations, again, for stormwater, floodplain management, and wetlands. As with any, we treated this as like a rezoning, and consistent with that, we looked at the criteria in the Land Development Code, and those criteria will include things like not being in conflict with the public interest, being consistent with the comprehensive plan and the land development code, not having significant liability or hardship for the city, that the proposed development does not create an unreasonable hazard or nuisance or constitute a threat to the general health, safety, and welfare of the city, and that the project must still comply with other local, state, and federal regulations. So the findings based on those criteria are: one, it is consistent with the comprehensive plan. The proposed uses are along areas served by infrastructure. You have the major roadway of US 1 and Palm Coast Parkway, and that area is served by water and sewer. It must not be in conflict with public interest. Again, the proposed uses on commercial to general commercial are consistent with those in the surrounding areas, such as Hargrove Grade to the north, which is light industrial, and mainly there are some office and commercial uses in Hargrove Grade. And more consistently, Palm Coast Parkway is zoned commercial too. And additionally, providing additional opportunities for services for the residents who live what we consider to be now to be the west side of Palm Coast. It must not provide, the third criteria, not providing, having no significant impact on financial liability or hardship for the city. Again, the area is already served by infrastructure. This development would be subject to impact fees, and there is always potential for job creation during and after construction. Not creating an unreasonable